How's it going, friends? And welcome to BitCast episode 103 for the week of September 4th, 2022. I'm your host, Jake Martin. On the show this week, we have possibly one of the most special guests yet, all the way from Columbus, Ohio, my very own older brother, Brock Martin.
Oh, thanks for having me, Jake.
Hey.
What's going on?
Hey, glad to have you here. I can't believe it's taken 103 episodes to get you on the podcast.
I know you've been begging me to do this for over a year now, probably 2 years, and I just keep delaying. So now it's finally happening.
Well, it wasn't that I was begging you, okay? Don't make me sound desperate, okay? I was waiting for the right time to get you on the podcast.
Yeah, 103 was that number.
Yeah, it's the perfect number. And also, I think I just had to schedule it. It was on me, too, for not scheduling it. But hey, you're here now. We're doing a podcast. We did a lot of troubleshooting prior to this. So what the audience does not see or hear is Brock and I on Zoom awkwardly trying to figure out how to get all the mic settings working on his side. So it should be good.
He's helping me get started, helping me get it set up. Yep.
Yeah. So if you guys are tuning in today, we will be discussing what we've been playing per usual and open world games and why they're bad or why they're good, maybe. But first, some housekeeping. If you guys are fans of the show, be sure to like, subscribe, share, all that jazz. We are on Spotify and all podcasting platforms, but if you left a review on any of those, it would sure mean a lot. So please do that. So now, Brock, I got to know before we're jumping into what you're playing, what are you sipping on over there?
I'm sipping on, I think, blood orange tea in a Christmas mug and water. So that's about it.
I love the Christmas themes. You just really getting ahead of that, or you're too lazy to find a different mug.
Yeah, no, I saw it and I was like, it sounds good for tonight. Christmas mug.
Yeah, cozy. I think cozy. That's right. Well, I'm drinking water out of a Nukes cup. I don't know if you've
I don't even know what Nukes is.
It's like a I don't know, like a Panera sort of, but a little bit better.
Okay.
A little bit better than Panera, so they're pretty good though.
Hey, Panera has mac and cheese now, so fire.
They did change the menu. It's actually not bad. It's gotten better, I feel like.
Pizza sucks though, so don't eat the pizza.
Ooh, wait, Panera has pizza?
Yeah, it's not good. It's they call it, it's like flatbread pizza, but it's gross.
But it's gross. You don't want that.
Yeah.
This is actually the Panera Pizza podcast. We're just rating all the pizzas from Panera.
Oh, don't get me started on pizza.
We'll talk about, we'll save that for the next episode. That'll be the bonus material. Yeah. All right. So Brock, I gotta know, man, what are you playing?
Well, I'm playing. Let's see. I mean, lots of Call of Duty, always. I mean, that's my go-to pretty much almost every night is a few rounds of Call of Duty with the boys. Hot drops with the boys.
Hot drops.
Yep, exclusively Warzone. That's the only thing I play, basically.
The free stuff.
I mean, I've been playing, I was playing Hades, but I think I got through at least 30 clears on it, finally fully beat the game where the credits rolled. And then they just took it. I think it either just went off Game Pass or something because now I can't play it anymore. So I think that's dead now. I was playing Neon Abyss. I actually was playing Persona 5 a little bit to try to finish that.
How many hours in are you on Persona 5?
Not very far, like 20 maybe. And the problem with that game is it's very bad for how I like to play games because I want to go talk to every single shop and every single thing and buy every single item. And I just started, I think I'm still very early in the game and I already have 3 part-time jobs that I'm trying to juggle while going to school and taking classes. And it's becoming impossible to manage. So
you basically have taken real life stressors of life and brought them into Persona with you.
Yeah, Persona 5 is not good for me. Yeah, and it like bothers me that they forcibly change the time on you anytime you want to do an activity. I'm like, no, my day's not done. I need to do more things in the day. So yeah, it doesn't end well for me.
I think it's it's kind of that actually will weigh into some of our discussion today, but that's a good practice maybe to like just accept your limitations, accept what you're not able to do.
No.
I have to do everything.
Never. Yeah.
Well, nice, man. It sounds like you are bouncing around a lot, though.
Oh, and Diablo Immortal. I've been playing that a lot.
I shouldn't have mentioned that to you. I feel like I've introduced
Oh
you to a
yeah,
drug.
I think I'm already Paragon level 50 or something like that. And that's not even play. I haven't even played the past 3 weeks. I played a lot for like two. I think I got to that in 2 weeks or under. So
Oh,
yeah,
I know. I was there when I saw you getting
yeah.
all those levels. We were in.
Well, then I hit the buy cap where now it's like very very slow to do anything, and you just have to play every day and do all these activities and get a little bit of crystals and yeah. Anyways,
A little bit of crystals, I gotta get the gems. Gotta level up my equipment.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Another thing we'll probably talk about in this podcast, this main topic. But that's hilarious. Yeah, it sounds like you're bouncing around a lot between many different games. Is that does that
Oh
stress
yeah.
you out? Like trying to play those things, or you're just kind of like, no, I'll just jump to this, I'll jump to this, I'm good to go.
Yeah, I just hop in, play one for. Oh, yeah, I played Destiny 2 a little bit recently in the past week. So just hop in, play a little bit, hop out, hop in, whatever. It's usually a lot of my gameplay is dependent upon what friends are online. So I have like one group of friends that plays Destiny and Halo, another group of friends that plays COD, and then
Gotcha.
all the platformers are what I play when there's no one online. So
Makes sense.
solo.
Makes sense. Platformers, single player campaigns, gotcha. Hades, that kind of stuff. All right. Well, for me, I just finished up this game called The Artful Escape. I'm not sure if it's a game you'd be into or not, but it's like a 4 hour, very low key platformer where you're playing as this cousin or nephew of this famous folk artist, and he's trying to find his own way in the music world, and he doesn't want to play folk music, but everyone thinks he should. And so he kind of goes on this pretty much acid trip of a dream and plays music all over the galaxy and does all this crazy stuff. And you basically play like Simon Says with a bunch of aliens, and then that's the game. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. It was on PS Plus, one of the catalog games.
What's it called?
The Artful Escape.
Oh, when you said Artful Escape, I'm thinking of an escape room type game or find clues to get to the next phase or next sequence. A really good game that reminds me of that. I think it only took around the same time to beat, was 4 hours or something. Was it Until Dawn, where it was siege? Yeah. It was it was almost like CGI overlaid on top of recordings of famous people or something. Yeah. That one was cool.
Those are good. I like those puzzle-based games, and it's Annapurna. I think it's actually the A24 is the same developer as the one you just mentioned. I think. But speaking of escape rooms, I played another game called Inscription. Have you heard about this?
I saw you playing it on Twitch, but I have not heard about it. It's like some card game.
Oh, Brock, it's so much more than a card game. I don't want to spoil anything for you because I think it's really, honestly, one of the best games I've played in a long time. It's just it constantly surprised me with where the story went. It doesn't take me that long to beat. Maybe I would say 6 to 10 hours, in that time frame. I don't know how long I was in there, but yeah, it's just it's this horror game that evolves into something more than just a horror game. I don't know, that's all I want to say, because I really think it's a game everyone should play because it's just so unique. But I really enjoyed that. Just beat it this weekend. And then I also,
is it actually scary or no?
I wouldn't say it's actually scary. It's just unsettling. There's a guy across the table from you. All you can see are his eyes floating, and there's some dark themes self-mutilation and stuff like that, where you take your eyeball out and put it in this scale,
but not like Outlast.
No, not at all. No.
Okay.
Yeah, this is more.
I tried to play Outlast for about an hour and was like, nope, not doing that, and just gave up.
Too spooky. I'm out. Yeah. Definitely not. Yeah, I'm not. You and I are both not spooky guys, so that's good. And then I played and beat a short hike. It's a 2-hour game. You could probably beat it faster than that if you want to. And it's kind of I think Mark's talked about it on the podcast before, but it's you're this little bird and you're just trying to get to the top of this mountain. It's a short hike, and there's people along the way you can kind of talk to and help out. Oh, hey, I'm looking for my scarf. If you see it, can you bring it back to me? And there's some clever writing it's kind of quirky. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. It was like 2 hours. Music was really pretty. So yeah, a lot of like short, unique experiences more recently for me. Because as we'll talk about in a second, games that take too long, not that good. Not good
Oh,
games.
they're amazing. They're amazing. What are you talking
Short,
about?
story-focused games are the way to go. So speaking of that, let's move into the topic of the show then. So open world games. Many people that have listened to this podcast have probably heard me complain about open world games, or at least games that are too bloated in many different of the episodes that we've put up. And don't miss Mark's episode really quick. I want to mention this at the top of this discussion of 11 and a half episode or 11 and a half minutes, where he talks about why open world games are good. He's actually wrong, but you should listen to it. It's linked in the description of this episode. So if you guys want to check it out, definitely head on over there. It's like, again, it's 11 and a half minute long episode. So fun to listen to. So before we jumped into this, Brock, I wanted to get your take on what are some of your favorite open world games?
I made a list. So hold on. Let me pull it up real quick.
While you're talking, I'll get mine going.
Destiny is obviously up there. I mean, I played Destiny from like first release of Destiny 1 all the way. I stopped playing probably right before like the Witch Queen, and that was pretty consistent for, I don't know, 6 years, 5-6 years. So right. I mean, that's right there. That's why I can tell you I'm going to win this argument. Any game that you can consistently play for 6 years, probably one of the best games ever made.
So you're a value guy.
Yeah. Well, although they kind of get you on value because they're like, oh, pay for this expansion. Oh, sorry, we're going to re-release the same content over and over again. We're going to reskin it, make you run the level backwards. But anyways, But I mean, so like Destiny, Far Cry, Horizon Zero Dawn. I mean, any of the Assassin's Creed games. You didn't like Horizon Zero Dawn?
It was fine.
Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves is an amazing game.
Sea of Thieves is one I have not played that I've really wanted to play. So that one gets amazing.
It's like one of the, I always tell my friends it's the best chat room ever invented.
Yeah.
So it's just sit there, hang out with your boys and go kill some Krakens and steal some gold.
It sounds amazing. You should be their sales pitch guy.
I mean, Batman, Arkham Knight, Elder Scrolls. Wow. I mean, are you including MMOs in this or no?
MMOs kind of count, but I'm thinking you were on like the right track with most of that stuff.
There's the other one, Infamous.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
Fun. Yeah,
I liked that game. Yeah, the Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. That's fun.
Yeah, the new Spider-Man game's really good. Elden Ring, I really enjoyed.
Elder Scrolls, Red Dead, Dragon's Age, any of the new Need for Speed games, GTA. Any GTA all the way back from Vice City. You don't remember hanging out in your boy's basement? At least for me, it was middle school, high school, pulling up on motorcycles on the beach, listening to some tunes on GTA. Oh man, good old days. I don't think I ever even beat the game. You just immediately go and just start using cheat codes and blowing things up with rocket launchers and helicopters.
Exactly. That's okay. So for me, it's Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. You already mentioned a lot of this stuff, but Elden Ring, Spider-Man, those are the ones that like I think of that I've enjoyed. GTA, like you said, I enjoyed up to a certain extent, and then like put in cheat codes because I got bored, and then I dropped the game because I was just like, I don't really care to do anything in this game. Yeah, I don't want to live a second life virtually via GTA 5.
You want to do it in Persona?
Exactly. But see, that's a straightforward storyline. You can only do so many things in that game. So let's move on to now why I think that they are generally not the best, and we'll have a back and forth discussion on this. I understand you have some of your own points that you've put out here, but the first thing that I wanted to say, and this is like probably relatable to you in some respect, but open world games demand so much time. And especially for me as someone who like wants to stay current with releases, like when these huge games come out, it's like, dude, like I have a kid, you have a kid. Like there's like, I do not have time to sink in and beat this entire game or do everything I want to do in here. And to like get the best experience that everyone talks about, like you kind of have to do that. You know, they want you to explore the world and go all of these nooks and crannies and see everything. And it's just like, okay, either I'm playing this game for the next 4 years and I'll finally beat it then, or I just say like, no, I'm just not going to do it.
Well, it depends what type of open world. So, like even Elden Ring, right? I had a lot of fun playing that, and I actually haven't beaten it yet. I'm almost to the end, and have been trying to 100% it, and all my friends made fun of me because they were like, "How are you?" I was like level 140 or 150, and I hadn't even cleared the capital yet. They're like, well, "How's that possible?" And I said, "Well, every single dungeon, I've done every single dungeon in every map that I could find because I just like running around, ride my horse, go find a cave, go in the cave, go kill the monsters, keep trying the cave over and over again."
Oh my goodness. Yeah, you're
so,
a
and that's I'm probably at an hour per level. I think I'm at like 140 hours in the game. And you figure a level 140. Now, Destiny, I mean, that's part of the reason why I slowly stopped playing it is exactly what you said, is that because I didn't play for a period of time, I got behind, and then it's really hard to catch back up. But I will say Destiny, if you have like a group, if you have a good clan and you have a group of people that consistently play, it makes the game way more fun. Playing it solo is like, I mean, it's fun, but it's not nearly as fun as we used to have like dedicated raid times. So it was okay every Friday
Tyler,
night.
Rob,
Nick, and well, I had a well, they stopped playing pretty early, so I had a whole crew of like West Coast people that I played with. So the only thing that sucked about that is they would want to start raids at I'm East Coast, so they would want to start raids at like 10 o'clock p.m. my time, and in the beginning, Vault of Glass, you're talking we're not getting done till 4 a.m., 5 a.m.
Terrible. So okay, hold on. Let's make the distinction right now. What you're talking about is more of like a multiplayer online open world, which is definitely one thing. But I'm thinking more like in the single player realm. Like Destiny is definitely
so like Horizon Zero Dawn, Assassin's Creed, Spider-Man, those. Okay.
Yeah. I think Destiny definitely is like open world in gameplay elements.
Well,
and like
so yeah, those games, I would argue they're still fun, and they're good for people who want to be completionists because there's a very easy, clear path for completionism in it. And it's like, because almost all of them have some sort of tower mechanic, right? You go, you unlock the tower, then you unlock the area. And then after you get the area, it's, there's all these side quests you have to do within the area. And then it gives you your list of literally everything to complete to beat the game. So you just pick what version you like that matches your story. I mean, Spider-Man was sweet, just swinging around the city, trying to do things speedy. And I will say it got annoying because you're trying to do some of these challenges and it's like, I got to do it crazy fast, do the time trials of web slinging. That's kind of annoying if I want to complete it. But,
but like, Spider-Man is a good example, I feel like, of open world design where it was almost anybody could have platinum that game if they wanted to, because it wasn't that far out of reach. Like getting all the backpacks and finding all the stuff was like just going to the spot on the map for the most part. And you're like, okay, you just go do this thing, go do this thing, go to this thing. And that was it. And that map, like, even though it was big, like wasn't so big that like it took forever to get from point A to point B, because it's fun to like, this is another point for me, but like open world games suffer tremendously when it's not fun to move around the map. Like when like Spider-Man's awesome because you're swinging around, you're having a great time and you're jumping off buildings and stuff. But like The Witcher 3 or Red Dead Redemption, you're just riding your horse across the map forever. You're just like, I got to go to that town over there.
Well, most of them, once you get the new tower, then you can fast travel to the new tower place. So you can fast travel if you want. I actually never played Red Dead. So
Red Dead 2, you can't fast travel until you like get to a certain point in the game. They make you ride your horse across like very realistic elements of the United States for a very long time. And I'm just like, what am I doing in this game? And to your earlier point about like it's great for completion, I do agree, but I also disagree because there's a certain level of anxiety that comes with the fear of missing something. And because open world games are so open, you'll like walk into a new map, let's say like Cyberpunk, like a new area, and there's a million things that you can go do. It's like, go over here, go get your mod, go check this out, go buy a car, go get a tattoo, go change your hair, go do those stuff. And you're just like, what am I supposed to do? Like, there's just so much choice that sometimes like I don't even know if I've done everything by the point I'm advancing the story. Like I accidentally like advance the story and I'm like, oh crap, can I not go back now and like make that choice that I was given back there? Like I don't even know now. And like that sucks. Like that happened in Elden Ring a few times where like I killed the guy right when I came out, and they're like, oh well, you killed him, that's it now. You're stuck with that decision the rest of the game. And I was just like, shit.
So, I mean, you could have restarted.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna restart. I already like played for like 5 or 10 hours. I was like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. But you're gonna have that with any open world game. I think that's what makes them kind of fun too, though. It's like, so I will say I'm not a big person to play through a game multiple times unless I really. The only game that I've even considered doing that with is, let's say for story games that we're talking about this style. Any open world game I don't play like over and over again, unless it's like an MMO type where it changes with who I'm playing with online. Right. But yeah, otherwise the regular ones like Spider-Man and stuff, I'm not going to go play again. I'm not going to play Elden Ring again, which is why in Elden Ring, really they want you to play again because then it unlocks different things and you can get more items. Yeah, but I'll probably never play that again, which is why I wanted to try to do every dungeon possible the first time through. And then same thing, even with like, so I really liked Infamous, and I thought that was a cool one to fly around the map because you had different powers. You could, run super fast or shoot concrete out of your arms and fly or whatever. Yep. So,
traversal.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never going to play that again. I'm never going to go play Infamous again unless I'm just feeling super nostalgic one day for some reason. But even then, I'll probably play it for 2 hours and then I'm done.
Yeah, I'm good. Well, so that's a good point. Like, I think storytelling suffers in open world games because in a linear campaign, let's say like God of War, I wouldn't consider that open world. There's certain like areas that are open, but really like you're supposed to go to one point. You're supposed to go to one area, and they kind of direct you there the entire time. Like that game's story was so good because there was no extreme side content that was pulling you away from this like serious thing you were supposed to be doing. Whereas, like, most of the time we're supposed to believe that we're on some grand quest to save the world from destruction. But then it's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go actually help this guy with his cat real quick. He just lost his cat. I'm going to go over there and help him real quick. I'm the world's greatest hero, but I'm going to go over here real quick.
Yeah, well, they do the same thing in Spider-Man, right? Once you get to the end of the game, well, I don't know who's listening, but whatever. Once you get to the end, sequences happen that basically the city is exploding into chaos, and then you can still go do side missions. And
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just
stop a burglary.
It's so disjointed. Like, it'd be better if you did the main story and you played through a campaign that was pretty linear, and then they're like, hey, now that you've beaten the game, like, you still have to do things as Spider-Man around here now that the city's calmed down. Like, go stop these crimes, go help people find their cats, like, be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Like, that would be, I think, a better transition than just, like, in the middle of your serious story you're in, it's like, hey, you gotta go find a burrito and buy this burrito and give it to this guy over here.
Well, and almost every single open world game like that you're talking about is set up that way. You can finish the game and then you can go back and complete all the side quests.
But then it doesn't it doesn't even feel like it's worth it. Like, what are you playing for at that point?
So, but you just said you want them to force you to the end and keep the story going.
It has to be one or the other, essentially. But like my motivation for the side quest, if they're tied into the main story, I'll do them sometimes, but like usually you're doing it because you want to get experience, you want to get money, or you want to get like some sort of upgrade that the person's going to give you, so you're stronger for the next area that you go to. Whereas when you finish the campaign, unfortunately, unless you're just going for a completion, you're like, okay, this guy just gave me experience, but I'm already max level, or I've already killed the strongest guy here, so okay, like sometimes those side quests lose that weight after you've done them too.
Yeah.
So the other thing with that, I was going to say, because like because open world games are like spread so far, like this isn't like story per se, but this is like quality. Like the quality of like the dialogue goes down. Like things just aren't as good if it was like linear progression. Like Witcher Three's combat I thought was terrible. GTA and Red Dead Redemption still have terrible gun controls. Like it feels terrible to shoot in those games. And it's like, why? Why? Like this is the only thing I'm doing in these games is killing people, and it feels terrible. Like I can't even like my guns like squishy, and like it doesn't like let's see what else did I put down here. Yeah, traversal is usually like not good, or side quests suffer. Like I think just because they're trying to do so much, they can't do like everything well. You know, like maybe they have really good, you know, RPG systems or really good battle systems, but there's always one thing that sucks. There's always one thing that's just not that good in the game. And you're like, okay, well, this is
Yeah, or like
less than great.
Sea of Thieves. I guess that's more MMO really too that you're talking about it, the style, but that's open world in my mind too. And that one, they spent a ton of time. Like when the game first came out, everybody freaked out because of how realistic the water was. So they made the water like super amazing, but then all the rest of the graphics suck. So you're riding in this little, you know, I mean,
Cartoon
riding
boat.
around in a ship is sweet, yeah, but it's like a little cartoon boat, pixelated. It's not pixelated, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Horographic boat, and playing music, and then the water is like HD, crystal clear, looks realistic, and then you see a big cartoon shark pop up out of it and try to eat you.
Wait a minute. Why are these so different looking? Yeah. It's like just do one thing if you want to do it. Like I would always almost go for like a realistic, or sorry, like an artistic style over realistic. Um, that was like another thing. Like there's like that uncanny valley thing that happens with some games where they try to like pull you into the story and like give you choice and what you're going to say back to the person, but like the dialogue is like so stiff, and the person you're talking to, their face is just always like something's off about it every time. You're just like, oh, I don't know if I like how this is looking right now.
See, it's funny too, because it's, to me, it depends on the reason that you're playing the game. So if we're sticking to the open world games that we're talking about, then yeah, usually the dialogue's not great because it's just a repetitive. They write a program and it just says, okay, here we're going to write different text into it for this sequence. And then, you know, they store them wherever, but it just does it because you're calling that same base class or base method where it's saying, all right, you know, I'm going to initiate the whatever, getting a backpack sequence in Spider-Man or clearing a tower sequence in Spider-Man. But like some games like Destiny, I don't play for the story. I play because I just have fun playing with people, go try to figure out puzzles. The shooting mechanics on it are sweet. Go do some aliens. And it's a game that still is challenging. And I have friends that still play it. So, but you know, that's why I said it depends why you're playing the games. Like, but my buddy Ian knows the entire Destiny story and can recite it to you. So anytime I want to know what's happening, awesome. I just ask him, and I still can't follow because it's all fake names and fake people. And he's like, well, you know, we're in this star system now, and the Traveler has exploded, and now the Witch Queen Sabathun has come back, and oh, it's Oryx's brother, sister, or whatever. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I don't care. I'm just gonna shoot some aliens.
Well, and I think that is a good point you just made. Like, it does matter on why you're playing the game, and it also depends on like how much you can invest yourself in the story, right? So in Ian's case, you know, he can actually like sort of absorb the lore and the content and like make his experience better. Whereas like, yeah, I'm like you, where like I'll see the little like logs and other story bits, and I skip through all of it. So like, okay, yeah, like I'm just gonna go shoot some guys. Like this is great, but this is just leading to me shooting more aliens in a cave. Like that's what I'm about to go do right now. So I think the best elements of open world game are like when they kind of tie those together in a seamless way that kind of makes sense. Or like in the case of Elden Ring, like the lore was so secondary. Like I almost have no idea what was even happening still in Elden Ring. But they were just like, we don't care about that. Just go fight these cool things. Like that was the point. Breath of the Wild was the same thing. Like there's kind of a story in Breath of the Wild, but they're just like, just go find these cool shrines and like find these 4 beasts and like fight the bad guy, and that's it.
Was there puzzles? I haven't played Breath of the Wild yet, so that's next on one of my lists. So was there puzzles?
Oh, many puzzles. So instead of dungeons per se, they have shrines, and they're all like individual mini puzzles that have different challenges in them. So like some are combat, some are like, you have your specific abilities, and you have to like manipulate things in the space, and it's very, very good. But again, that one didn't focus as much on story. And I will say, I need to come clean here. Like, I think I'm also just partial to certain IPs. Like, if it's a Zelda game, I will absolutely check it out. If it's another Spider-Man game, I will absolutely check it out. But there's a lot of stuff that's interested me that I haven't checked out because I know I'm just like, I don't think it's a game that I'm going to be able to finish or play. Like Ghost of Tsushima looks awesome, but it's just like, that's just not a game I don't think that I would enjoy.
Yeah. See, I feel that way about Final Fantasy. So that's another one I didn't even mention, but it's been a long time since I played it. It was Final Fantasy 15 was open world, and it was sweet. I liked it. A lot of people didn't, but I liked it. So
yeah. I
mean, you just run around indefinitely and keep fighting monsters forever. So.
And you love Final Fantasy, and that makes sense because you're like, I like this world. I like doing this stuff. This is cool to me,
Assassin's Creed, I got bored of. So,
and I think that's where most of my gripes come from. Honestly, is Ubisoft games. Like, they were the first ones to just slap a map together with a bunch of points and say, go do stuff. It's going to be great. And like, it wasn't that great. You're just like, why am I doing this? Why am I just running around petting a dog?
Once they build the mechanic once for the engine, then it's basically just replace the content and do the same thing. Print over and over and over again.
Yeah. Well, and that's actually like the last 2 points that I have. So like, open world games, unfortunately, because like you're saying, like if they're not doing the Ubisoft method where they're just printing games back to back to back, open world games that are thoughtful take forever to make, and they cost so much money because there's so much in them. So I think Red Dead Redemption 2 was like a 10-year development cycle. GTA, I think, is on the same track. The next GTA 6 is going to be even longer. We've had GTA 5 now for I don't know how many years at this point, almost 10 years, I think. You looking it up right now?
Yeah. No, I was looking up. I was trying to see when they started development on Destiny. I mean, they're still developing it because they keep releasing things, but I just was curious.
Yeah. So like they take so long to make, and I think from an industry standpoint, it'd probably be better if it didn't take that long. And this last point is this is more, what's the word? This is a psychological or like more of a deep point that I want to make, but like video games are a good form of escapism, but excessive escapism is not good. And what I'm not saying is that like if you play a ton of video games, like that's bad, but I think like games that ask so much of you to like demand so much of your time to like spend inside there away from the real world, I just have like an issue with that sometimes where I'm just like, okay, I'm building up a virtual world where I have an apartment and a job and I'm making money and I'm trying to get cars and I have a dating relationship and I'm going over here. Like at a certain point we have to ask ourselves, like, is this like, why am I doing this? Like there's certain parts that are fun about it because it's easy. It's like, oh, cool. Like I just got a job without having to interview. And now I'm making hundreds of thousands of dollars and I have a Lamborghini I can drive, like that's kind of fun. But I think to a certain point, like it's not good too. It's just like, you have to kind of figure out that line. So that's me personally. I've always struggled with playing games like for too long. And then whenever a game starts going into that territory where it's just like, it feels almost more like a job. I'm like, I don't know if I like this. I don't know if I like what I'm doing here.
I mean, I guess it depends if you're having fun, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're having fun playing, then who cares? I mean, that's the reason I played Destiny so long is I had a blast playing it. And like I said, to me, there's a huge difference between the MMO online ones, because I'm playing and talking to people, whether it's my real friends from my life or friends I've met online or whatever, where I more play to have the conversations and talk to people. So I use, especially like when COVID came around, I mean, I was playing a lot of games mainly just to talk to my friends, because it's like, hey, it's like a phone call, but we sit there and then I do something in the background. So I don't even really care what the game is or what I'm playing. It's more like, oh, I can sit there and talk to someone. So for me, that's a big reason of why I play games. So I think I don't view it as like, oh, I have to get this thing done. And if I'm playing games solo, it's very rare that I'll just sit there and crush it, unless it's something like God of War. But even God of War, I invited my buddy over. We stayed up all night long and we beat the whole thing in like 30 hours without sleeping. So
yeah, because so what you're saying is like open world games, if they allow some sort of like multiplayer aspect, tend to be a lot more digestible than like if it is just a standard single player open world game.
Yeah.
Okay.
The single player open world games, I would say, are perfect for me personally. If I'm like sick or I know I'm going to be shut in the house for an extended period of time and not doing anything, or, whatever. If I know I basically have time to kill and nothing else on my bucket of items that I need to complete, then it's like, oh, that's the perfect game for it. Sit here, do repetitive, mind-numbing things over and over again.
Sounds great. Yeah, mind-numbing. That's how I want to play my games. But you're right. Like, there is something about that. Like, I won't dive into a new huge game. Like, that's why I haven't played any new huge games yet, because I was like, I can't do it right now. But like, if I know I have a slowdown period coming up or something like that, I'm like, okay, now I can do this because I have a 2-day period or 2 days off of work or whatever, and my son's in daycare, and now I can just knock this out. Like that would be the time to start Ghost of Tsushima or something like that, and maybe try to make a dent in that, or Final Fantasy VII Remake. I want to play that, but I haven't done it yet. So,
oh yeah, beat that.
There's so many games I want to play still. There's so many games.
You just got to start playing every night. Really, there was a period of my life. Well, it comes and goes for me, especially like in the summer, I don't play games as much. In the winter, I play a lot more, because at least up in Ohio, it's snowy, cold. There's nothing really to do. Sometimes it's -5 degrees outside. So it's like, you're not leaving the house.
Yeah.
So
that's a good point.
So
I find myself wanting to hole up more. Yeah, when it's cold, for sure too. Like the days that you spend all day like inside playing a game in the summer, and you go outside, you're like, oh man, like I don't feel good about myself right now.
Yeah, but in the winter, I'm like, oh well, it's pretty terrible out here, so I made the right choice.
It's depressing everywhere, so this is fine. Yeah, there is something to be said about that as well. Well, okay, so closing out this conversation, then. I think we've determined that
open world games are sweet.
Open world games can be okay. If you're a fan of the franchise and you just like them, like you can already get yourself invested and you can go for it. If done well, if given like good traversal mechanics, and like maybe somewhat of a compelling story or reason to do side quests, I think those also formulate into a good open world experience. But it's where they're asking you to do stuff that's not engaging or not fun, or just repetitive things like that. That a lot of open world games fall to is just like, oh, we didn't know what else to do for this side quest, so you're gonna go run an errand for this person, buy something from the shop, and bring it back to them. Like. If they can avoid that as much as possible, then I think open world games can be okay.
Yeah, I think that's probably why I liked Final Fantasy a lot, because Final Fantasy 15 avoided a lot of those meaningless type quests. I mean, they were still, I would say meaningless, where it didn't have anything to do with the story really, but it was like, go to this area and clear out, these people, or clear out this monster, go find this special monster hidden over here and go kill it. Okay. That was your contract. Now I did not complete it, and I gave up on one of the end dungeons. There's like a 99 floor dungeon at the end that I gave up on.
That
So
sounds terrible. That sounds terrible.
because you couldn't use any items, and there was like all these mechanics to it, and if you died you had to start over completely at the top again. And I think I got to in the 70s or 80s, and it was like that probably took 3 or 4 hours. So that, like you said right there, if there's some time mechanic that takes a super long time to do and there's no reward for it, then it's just challenging. So then it's like, I gotta do this again.
Do I want to do this again? Am I even having fun at this point? Yeah.
Yeah. There's some crazy platforming dungeon in there too that I never did, where it's like you have to like fly through all these things and it's madness. So you have to like fly your car over a wall to get to this secret area where there's a platforming dungeon.
Oh,
but anyways, yeah.
I do think there's something to be said about that too, like points of interest. So like Breath of the Wild was engaging because they didn't just give you a map of places to go with like waypoints on them. The only way to like go somewhere was to physically see it in the distance. Really, like you had a topographical map, but it wasn't that helpful. So a lot of times, like you use like your binoculars essentially, and you look into the distance and you see like a tower, or you'd see this weird structure, and you'd be like, okay, I'm gonna go check out that weird thing over there and see what that is, you know. And that's how you would kind of navigate. It was more of like a curiosity that was pushing your exploration in that game. Whereas, you know, a game like Horizon Forbidden West is like this, where you go to like you get one of the new tall giraffe thingies, whatever they're called, and you scan the whole area, and then there's just a bunch of waypoints everywhere for you to go explore. It's just like, well, that's not the most fun thing to do right now. So, I guess, yeah. To finally officially close the conversation out, I think, you know, I'm still not convinced. I still think that open world games, you know, you know, some are okay, some are fine, but I think by and large, if you give me a linear experience, Persona, God of War, you know, any of those games that are more straightforward, I'm going to play those every single time over an open world game, because I'm just like, I don't have time for that.
What if it's a really terrible storyline, straightforward game? You still prefer it?
I won't play either. I won't play any of them.
All right.
Well, unfortunately, all that is the end of the podcast. Brock, thank you so much for jumping on, man. Appreciate you.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me. We'll do it again.
Yeah, we should. We'll get Hunter on here too. Just all the brothers. Have a great time.
Oh yeah, baby.
Oh yeah. Listeners, if you are fans of open world games, let us know. Or if you're not a fan, we'd be curious to know, you know, what you think constitutes a good open world game, what constitutes a bad open world game. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Be sure to check out any other new updates on bitbloggist.com and follow us on all the socials. We stream from time to time. I think, Brock, you and I recently streamed, I guess it was Fall Guys with some of the other boys from Ohio. So we're on there every now and then. So check us out if you want to watch some stupid content. And then send any topic suggestions to bitcast@bitbloggist.com. So if you liked this one and you want to maybe push the discussion further, go ahead and send us a question in, and we'd love to feature it on the show. But until next time, y'all, this has been BitCast. Thank you for tuning in. Talk about some stuff.